Well, the Chuckleheads Wargaming Group are touring the Maryland Museum now. We're in the Vietnam room, and I'll do some snippets here and there. And one of my favorite exhibits at the Maryland Veterans Museum is the Vietnam Memorial. And I think it's quite stunning for a small museum like this to have such an incredible memorial to the Vietnam veterans. And we'll go from room to room. I've done several videos, but this is just a little extra snippet. And there's Kevin with his Chucklehead shirt on. Well, the tiger cages. A brutal life it was to be a prisoner of the North Vietnamese during the Vietnam War. Well, we are in the Korean War room here, and I'm going to come over here to Joe, one of the Chuckleheads, and he has a story of his. Well, I'm going to let him tell his story of the Korean War. Joe, take it away.
Yeah, one of my dad's cousins, and we always used to call him Uncle because he was older. He served in the Korean War, and he told me that he had never been so cold than when he was in Korea during the war. And he was from Pennsylvania, so he was used to colder weather, but not as cold as Korea got. And he always and he also talked about the mice coming along in the trenches and taking a little nibble off of you.
Well, thank you for that, Joe. A little nibble. I presume that meant a little bite.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Well, as we tour the different rooms, and we'll get a little feedback from each of the members of the Chuckleheads Wargaming Group. All right, we'll pause the camera here. I think we're heading to World War II next. Here we are with Joe talking about the Korean War dress or gear.
Uniform, yeah. Basically, he's wearing the model 1943 field jacket, which was made in a green. The earlier ones were kind of a pinkish khaki color, but they changed them in 43, and the troops started getting them in 44 in the green color. The same thing with his trousers. They were originally a brown wool, and then they were changed to green. And you also notice he's not wearing any gaiters. I think by the Korean War they stopped wearing the gaiters, but he's wearing the winter overshoes over his boots.
Okay.
Those are rubber, and they're for.
And that goes over the GI shoe, the boot.
Over the boots. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joe. You're a plethora of information.
A little bit.
You used to work for the super secret people.
No, that's not true.
They won't take us away because you gave us too much information, right?
No, that's not.
Well, here we are in the World War II room, and I've done several videos in this room, and I got to say, this wall diorama they put up, or display, painting, is just really, really cool. It gives you a feeling of what it was like in, snow, cold.
Jumps out at you.
It really jumps out at you. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin, what do you think of this?
It's the first thing you see when you walk in the door. Look to your right, and there it is. It's powerful, and like I say it.
And
3D.
It's 3D because it's not just a painting. They have 3D stuff, as such as the ammunition belt goes up into the painting. I mean, it's really, really neat. This is a must-see museum.
Oh, it really is.
And we'll pause it here.
We have the Thompson submachine gun,
Okay.
and I believe it fired a 45 caliber round. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's true. And then below that we have probably the best combat rifle of World War II, which was the M1 rifle, 30 caliber. And it fired in a clip of 8 rounds, as you can see here.
Okay.
And basically the way it worked, you pulled back the bolt, and you see the bolt there on the side, and you shoved the clip in through the top, and worked it that way. Then they have what was called the grease gun. Now it's a 45 caliber as well. That was pretty much issued to people like tank crews and people who weren't basic infantrymen. But most of your, 99% of all your infantrymen carried the M1 rifle.
Well, thank you, Joe. Well, we're in the World War I room, and I have World War I airplanes for miniature wargaming, and I need to use them more and break them out. So they have some nice helmets in their collection and some rifles and bayonets. Wonderful little museum. What's not known all that much is the Mauser broom handle machine pistol was used an awful lot in both World War I and World War II. Well, here we have Walt, and he's going to be discussing the operation of a Gatling gun. So we're here with the GG, the Gatling gun, and Walt, can you take it away?
Well, this is really a cool piece because you can fiddle fart and play with it. It is a totally working Gatling gun. It's a cartridge fed. The cartridge goes in here. There's a set screw back here, so when you put it in, you can lock it in. I'm assuming, because I'm not a Gatling expert like you are, Bill, but that if I were to undo this, I could remove this part of the harness so that you could then get in and take care of anything that got jammed in any of the barrels. But there's also got a working adjuster so you can raise or lower the height, the angle. But the neatest thing of all is to do this. Not as fast as I thought it would be, but you're still spitting out, I don't know how many bullets a minute. So it's a pretty neat piece here at the museum.
And you gotta admit, you don't see a Gatling gun in a lot of museums.
You don't, do you, Goober?
All right, let's continue on. Well, we're in the Civil War room now, and Walt has pointed out something you don't see very often on artillery pieces. What do you see?
Just a muzzle boot,
A muzzle boot.
which you could use.
All right, and we have the limber with the cannon. And this is a 3-inch rifle.
These guns are almost bigger than.
But you
Well,
gotta shoot it.
we're in the War of 1812 room with, and oh my gosh, it's Goober the Traveling Bear. He is everywhere. All right, we have Joe here talking about the War of 1812 mannequin.
Yes, right here, I believe this is a reproduction of the uniform of the 5th Maryland Regiment. They were a rather a natty attired group, and I believe they were from Baltimore. They had a little red wrap around their shako. They wore the standard U.S. Blue coatee, and they had, in this case, red cuffs. They're wearing broad, full front trousers. And
Now, I see this mannequin has a saber. Would they all be carrying a sword?
No. That's a little confusing. I can't tell if he's an NCO or not. If he was an NCO, he might still be carrying a hanger, but yeah, I'm not clear on that. There's a bug on here. All right.
Thank you, Joe.
All right.
Get down here and frame it.
All right, we have Goober at the Battle of New Orleans, and he is with Charlton Heston and Lafitte.
Lafitte?
Thank you, fellas. And Goober the Traveling Bear is learning all about history at this museum and the Battle of New Orleans, the War of 1812. All right, let's pause our camera. All right, we're in the War of 1812 room, and being that we're in, live in Baltimore and Francis Scott Key, they have this neat boat thing display. I'm swinging over to the Chuckleheads. Kevin, what do you think of this display?
I think they're just fabulous dressers for starters. I mean, look at this guy. No, it's wonderful. They have as good as stuff here in the way of 3D exhibits, real relic exhibits, as I've seen anywhere.
And it's really designed for schools as well, because you can see over here they've got the little touch me, feel me kind of displays and stuff for the kids to play with. Definitely designed to have schools come through and get a good education in history. This is dedicated just to the USS Constitution. I don't think anywhere, even at Fort McHenry, did they devote anything to the USS Constitution. Not to mention that, of course, you got Francis Scott Key over there at the Fort McHenry.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, what's your 2 bits on this?
Oh, I think it's very well. I think it's very well done. You'll notice that the powder monkey there, he's wearing loose trousers, which are very common for nautical wear. You see, he has bare feet. That was also very common during most of the year for naval personnel. He just has a shirt.
And we have oranges.
Well, you do what you can to prevent scurvy.
All right.
They knew about fruit. They knew about drinking vinegar. They knew about eating sauerkraut. I mean, there are a bunch of things that people did to prevent scurvy in past times.
All right. Well, let's go ahead over to the Revolutionary War room.
Good, Kevin, so you must not have been
His-
involved.
No, we didn't do this, but I mean, all the
Research.
the
The
biographical
Maryland
work.
400,
Yeah.
ordered to hold at all costs.
Brooklyn Heights.
Brooklyn Heights.
Smallwoods, Maryland.
Wonderful little diorama.
Yeah.
We're in the Rev War room now. And pause the camera here. See what the guys think of this room. So we're in the Revolutionary War room, and we're at the spinning wheel, and oh my gosh, Goober got caught up in the spinning wheel. Laugh, life is short.
Oh man, where's security?
Now, a moment to talk about all the great work that the Daughters of the American Revolution, the different chapters, and how they help preserve history. And I know Miss Connie, who is one of the ambassadors here, does a lot of great work for the Daughters of the American Revolution, and how they help promote history and educational programs for to preserve our history of the different American battles, and also the people that fought and helped
I was going to say,
during the American Revolution.
Tobacco, and I can tell you those.
Well, we have toured the Maryland Veterans Museum in La Plata, and Goober, of course, has been here several times. I'm going to ask each of the members of the Chuckleheads, Kevin, what did you think?
Well, I'll tell you, I was very impressed when I saw this place on your video of several weeks ago. But it's even better in person. This is a real hidden gem. Why this place isn't crawling with people, I don't know. It's got everything. I mean, it's just a wonderful, wonderful place with wonderful exhibits. Great, Walt mentioned, great for schools. I don't know why school groups aren't down here.
All right, well, let's see what Mr. Joseph has to say.
Oh, I think it's a very nice museum, and many very nice pieces in the collection. So yes, it's very outstanding, and I would recommend that anyone who has any interest in American or military history come here to take a look for themselves.
And Walt, can you tap us off?
Sure. I would say if you want to spend an hour to 2 hours, that's probably all you need to really go through it, but it is really, really well done. Thank you, Bill, for dragging me down here with you.
All right, and
But if you do come down here, you've got Fort Washington, just a couple of miles to the west. You've got, if you can follow, you can go down and cross over into Dahlgren and go see the John Wilkes Booth little area they have there just west of Port Royal. Yeah, Port Royal. So you've got other historical things you can do down in the area at the same time. So.
all right, well, thank you, fellas, for letting me drag you down here. And Goober the Traveling Bear is always with the Chuckleheads. Stay safe, be kind, and be courteous. And
Well,
thank you for watching, and don't
This
forget
is
to
a- this is-
subscribe.